When we last left the Spider-Man Tooniverse, things were not going so well for Peter. He was late for work because it took him 2 years to get there after leaving the funeral scene in Spider-Man 1. He receives a dishonorable discharge and returns to Aunt May's house. He forgot it was his birthday, however, and is surprised by Mary Jane and James Franco. Not all is well, however. Franco becomes angry with Peter for not revealing the identity of Spider-Man, who Franco believes is responsible for the death of his father, Oscorp. Peter knows he can't reveal his true identity or break his promise to Goblin. They never reach a compromise, but other than that, it's a great party. May falls asleep. MJ goes to sit outside for a while. It is also here that we learn MJ has been cheating on Peter ever since he rejected her at the funeral, and is in fact dating J. Jonah Jameson's son, the astronaut. Meanwhile, Franco takes over the Norman Corporation and sets up a meeting between Peter and his idol, Otto Octavius, who has been working with Franco on a fusion reactor with hopes of creating enough energy to power the big Spider-Man robot from the TV show. He has also created a set of robotic arms called Dr. Octopus to assist him, an idea he got after seeing Doris, the little helping het from Meet the Robinsons. The reactor trial goes horribly wrong, however, and Peter saves Franco's life and pulls the plug. This leaves Franco with nothing left, except Spider-Man. But what went wrong? Was it a miscalculation? No, he couldn't have miscalculated. This is when the arms take over Otto's mind and decide to reconstruct the reactor because they... Meanwhile, Peter begins losing his Maguire-Man powers after Franco slaps him and MJ gets engaged to the other guy. In his weakened state, he is forced to fight Autobot as he robs a bank and captures Aunt May. His superhuman punches do nothing, so May hits him with an umbrella and fixes everything. Okay, now this shouldn't work. There is no way that an umbrella from Aunt May, pictured here, could take out a fully grown octopus man. But see, this is where the extremely important Spider-Man 2.1 Extended Director's Cut comes in. See, you thought they just fought on the side of the building the whole time, didn't you? You moron. If you watched the extended version, you would know that they actually go inside a room briefly. See, now it all makes sense. Octopath gets away with the money and Peter quits being Maguire-Man. Meanwhile, Autopart needs the precious tritium for the reactor to work. He makes a deal with Franco to deliver Spider-Man alive in exchange for the materials. Franco agrees and tells him that Peter knows Spider-Man's identity, but he is not to hurt Peter or the deal is off. So of course he frickin' chucks a car at Peter's head, throws him straight against the cement pillars. I mean, what else is he gonna do? He never got Peter's email address. He takes Mary Jane and waits for Spider-Man on a rooftop. With newfound purpose, Peter's powers are now back in full swing, if I may, and he fights Audible on the subway. He loses his mask, but it is returned by Tom Holland and his brother, Little Timothy. Octams takes Peter to Franco and leaves with the tritium. Franco is about to kill Maguire-Man, but he removes the mask at the last minute to realize it was Peter all along. Peter then wakes up, refuses to elaborate, and leaves to fight Doc Ock in one final showdown. Otterman powers up the reactor and fights with Maguire-Man, but Peter is able to convince him to destroy the machine. But as he does, a wall collapses and endangers Mary Jane. Now, there's been a lot of debate about this line over the years. Scholars have been trying to learn exactly what he says for generations to help piece together the many layers of this movie, but if we look very carefully, we can clearly see that he is actually saying the word boat. As in, if the wall falls on MJ, it will push her through the floor into the water below, thus requiring an aquatic vehicle of some kind. Now at first he thinks, okay, she'll just land on the boat from Spider-Man 1, but then he remembers, no, there was a scheduling conflict actually, and races to stop the wall himself. MJ then learns Peter's true identity. He swings her to safety and Otto drowns ironically, because he forgot he was not a real octopus. MJ wants to be with Peter, but Peter says no to that, but then MJ tells him no and they're together anyway. Meanwhile, Franco is crying on the couch when he hears the voice of his father, Gordon, crying for Franco to avenge him. It is here that he learns that his father was in fact the Gremlin the whole time. He discovers his father's secret lab, thus setting the stage for him to become Gremlins 2, the new batch, in the next movie. What will happen? We will find out.